This is from section 2.4, similar to a homework problem. It's asking us to create a stem plot, but we have two sets of data and they want a back-to-back stem plot. And so what we're going to do is we have the stems here, and the first stem starts at 5, and that's based on the lowest number that you have here. So the lowest number we have here is the males, and the male has a 55. I noticed that the females don't have anything in the 50s, so we're just going to look at the males. So that's 55, 56, let me circle them, 55, and these are the numbers. I suppose we can punch them in our calculator or Excel and then sort them so that they're in order and easier to read, but we can do it without, and so let's try to do it without a calculator. So we have three numbers for the males in 55, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the male side of the stem plot. I'll call it leaves, and then I'll type in the ones values, and generally it's nice to put it in order, so we have 5 and 5 and then 6, and then you just put these numbers as the ones place. You just put them in a number together like this. Now we're not looking at this as a number 556, but rather 55, 55, and 56. Let's go to the next stem. Now we're looking at all the numbers in the 60s. So let's take a look at the females. In the 60s, there's a 69, 65, 60, 65, 66, 69, 68. So what I want to do is I want to put them all in order. So there's a 60, so there's a 0. The next number would be 65 and 65, and there's two of them. And then we'll go with 66, 68, and then two 69s. And notice I'm just putting in the ones place for that. And so we would put these numbers in our female leaf part of the stem, but then we also generally want the zeros digits to start next to the stem. So I'm going to write it backwards from here since this is on the left side. 9, 9, 8, 6, 5, 5, 0. So it's essentially this set of numbers or a set of digits written backwards. So now let's look at the male side and how many of them are in the 60s. Got a 69, 69, 60, 64, 69, 68, 61, 65, and 66. Again, putting them in order, I'll start with a 0, and then here's a 1, and then there's no 2s, 3s, and here's a 4, and a 5 and a 6, and an 8, and then 3 9s. So now, since this is on the right side, this can be written in the order I have here. So I'll start with a 0, 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 9, 9. Okay? So we keep going. Again, we're starting with the stem in the middle. And if we want to build the stem, let's keep building the stem. And I noticed that there is one number here that's 107. So the stem will generally be in the tenths, the tenths digit, but since we're in the hundreds here and there's only one in the hundreds, we'll write it as a 10 tenths or 100. All right. Let's go into 70s now. Start with the females. 78, 79, 78, 73, 72. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 numbers. Let's put them in order. There's a 2, a 3, an 8, and an 8, and a 9. Again, we want to write those backwards. So let's go into the leaves for the female in the 70s. Writing it backwards. 9, 8, 8, 3, 2. So 2, 3, 8, 8, 9. Now let's look at the male side in the 70s. There's a 77 and 75, and 78. So there's 3 of them. There's a 5 and then a 7 and an 8 in that order. So let's mark that over here, 5, 7, and 8. Alright, we are now in the 80s. We have an 84, 89, 84, 89, 87, and 84. So in order, it looks like there's a 4, there's a 4, and another 4. There's 3 4s, and then a 7 and a 9. In reverse order, that would be a 9, 7, 4, 4, 4. About the men's side, in the 80s, 87, 84, 88, 83, 89. So the smallest number is a 3, and then there's a 4, and then a 7, 8, 9. And that's it for the men's. So the men's will have to stop here. So we look in the 90s and realize that there are nothing in the 90s. And now we go into the hundreds, and we got 107 here. Oh, but we have 123, so we may need to fix our stem. Because the stem, the leaves should be single digits. And then the stem could be whatever, so we may need to add a couple more. So I'm going to take the 7 and the females and represent that 107 here and this stem. And then now, since I see this 123, I'm going to create a couple more. So this is 110. This 11 here stands for 110, and there's no 1 anything digit here in any of these numbers. And then we'll skip over to the last one, 112. And then here, there's 123. So remember that the last digit will be on the leaf, and so the other digits before that should make up the stem. And so let's put a 3 here to represent 123. Okay? So this is your stem and leaf plot. This is not just a regular stem and leaf plot, but this is a back-to-back stem and leaf plot that is good for comparison's sake. So we can see that there's a couple of women here who have pulse rates that are over 100, and none of the men's go past 90. And then none of the female pulse rates are below 60. So those are interesting things that we can immediately see just by looking at a stem and leaf plot. Okay, hope that helps.